Hey everybody, welcome to or welcome back to our channel. I am Rachel and this is the channel Brad and Rach where we vlog our lives. Today's video is going to be, as you probably gathered from the title, a postpartum update. So I am kind of rapid fire filming postpartum update and like a 4-week update for Eloise because we're about a month old now. By we I mean Eloise. And that means I'm 1 month postpartum. And so she's laying right here. Hi. Hi. She likes a certain amount of time of like laying independently. Ooh. So I have the camera sitting on like a hurricane candle on the bed. Come here, sweet pea. And so it's kind of tipping a little bit. But she likes a certain amount of time of like just laying independently and kicking around, and then she's over it and she wants to be helped. So we're over it. We probably wanting to eat already. I'm gonna take my phone back out from under the corner and hopefully this thing doesn't tip over. This is really high quality, expensive production going on here. I'm being sarcastic. So, 1 month postpartum update. The first thing I put on here, and some of this is like just a general update, and some of it is directly related to things that I had mentioned in the last postpartum update. So, Eloise is eating now. The night sweats, by the grace of God, are completely over. I don't remember the last time I like woke up really sweaty. So, thank goodness. I think for probably at least the past week, I haven't had like the night sweats like I was in the beginning because it was really uncomfortable. Like you would not only be sweaty, but then when I would get up to feed Eloise, then I would be freezing when I got out of bed, and then I would get back in and it was like wet. So just not pleasant or glamorous at all. So that's one of those postpartum things that you don't necessarily hear about beforehand, but that's definitely something I experienced, and it sounds like a lot of you guys did too. So that's over, thank goodness. Body update. I thankfully, as of the last week or so, am feeling almost back to normal. So I've realized that's pretty quick. Like 4 weeks is a quick bounce back from a 9-month pregnancy. You hear like it takes 9 months to get to the point where you're at. It can take 9 months to get back, or even longer, just kind of depending on your circumstances. I recovered pretty linearly for the first couple of weeks, and then I had like this regression that was like worrisome for me. It seemed like I got worse and was needing my belly support band again, which I highly, highly recommend. I've talked about it in several videos. It's just a support band that you wear during your postpartum time, either with a vaginal or C-section delivery, and it just helps kind of regroup and support you. So I'll put a link for that in the description box below, but I felt like I needed to start wearing that again after having like an entire week of not really needing to wear it. And sitting up on my own, like sitting up in bed, started hurting again, where the last week I was able to do that with no problem. And it was right on the tail end of several days in a row that I seemed to be on my own with the twins a lot, and I had to lift them a lot, which I'm technically not even approved to be doing yet, but I just didn't have any other choice. Like I had to put them in their bed. And if one of them was like hysterically crying and I didn't have an opportunity to sit down with them, then I would have to lift them up. So it was a rough couple of days, and then it was a few days after that that I was like, I am not picking them up at all. And that meant one time, like in the morning, calling my mom and having her come up and get them out of their beds, which she was happy to do. So other than that little setback in my recovery, it's been going pretty well and pretty quickly, which is good. It needed to. So breastfeeding is obviously going really well. She has yet to have any kind of bottle, and I probably will talk more about that in my other update on her, but she is exclusively breastfed thus far, which means like I haven't had a stretch of more than 3 hours of sleep since she's been born, because she eats every 2 hours, sometimes every 3 at night for like the first chunk. I probably will start introducing a bottle this week because next week is my last week of maternity leave, and I know sometimes it can take a while for them to start accepting a bottle. So I don't want to be like nervous about her not taking a bottle when I do go back to work. And actually I have until this Friday, and then I go back next Friday. So this is my last full week of maternity leave. So once she starts taking a bottle, what I will probably do is at nighttime have Brad give her a bottle for one of her feedings at night, and that will allow me to get a stretch of sleep that's longer than 2 hours, which will be wonderful. We did that a lot sooner with the twins. Like I started giving them a bottle almost right away of pumped milk. So we never had to do formula, but they would get a pumped bottle right before bed just because I was so nervous about them not having enough. I have no question she's getting enough. She's getting plenty. I'm still overproducing by, it's probably about 10 ounces a day. I think I estimated like 5 to 8. It's probably like 10 ounces a day that I'm making that's extra, and that seems to be pretty consistent. My incision is looking a lot better than it did last time, but I think it can take a while to get like the inflammation and stuff that ended up happening to my last one. So I go back to the doctor in a couple of weeks, and he's gonna take a look at it again. And then we'll probably follow up another time after that to look at it again as it heals and decide if we need to do steroids or anything to help it heal a little bit better. But so far it's looking a lot better. It's just a lot wider. Like my initial scar was probably only 6 inches long, and this one, I guess to cut that one out, they had to go all the way around it. And so it's almost like from hip to hip this time. But I'd much rather have one that's a lot wider, that's more comfortable, less inflamed, and less like ropey than the last one. So I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit, but I have been quite a bit more tired this last week or two. And that's just because of like the whole breastfeeding, waking up a bajillion times at night. I say a bajillion, it's 3 max. But like that's with going to bed at 11 and then getting up for the day at like 7. So out of an 8-hour stretch, I'm up 3 times, and I think that's pretty normal for this age. So it's catching up to me. That last feed of the night is really hard to get up for. It's usually around 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 or 5, and that one is the worst. It seems like it's just so hard to get up for that one, and that's also the one that she doesn't really go back down very easily. And so like yesterday morning, Brad, he normally takes her after that feeding and just like rocks her out in the living room. But then yesterday he couldn't get her to settle, so he thought that she was hungry again. So like a half an hour later, he came back to me. And so I didn't end up getting like that last little bit. And it just makes it tough to function the rest of the day. And it makes me wonder how I did it with 2. Honestly, I know I was getting a lot less sleep than I am now. And I guess I'm older now too, but anyway, it's tough. It's definitely tough through this stage, but it's worth it, and I know I'll miss it someday. Mentally, I'm fluctuating a little bit. So I feel some days I don't know, it's like you get the normal like baby blues, I think, for the first couple of weeks after you have a baby. Hi! And that's normal, and like you kind of know when you're being irrational. I think, you know what I'm talking about, like in the very first couple of weeks afterwards, the weirdest things would like make me want to tear up. Like I remember after the twins, I thought about how old they would be when he would likely be nearing the end of his life, and I was wondering if they would even remember him as their childhood dog. So it's things like that that was a really strange way of saying the baby blues are weird, and I think you feel like you know that you're being irrational when it's the baby blues, but when it's like depression, it's different. And I've experienced that probably in the last week more so. It just so happens that probably in the last week I felt more tired than I have the whole time. Like it's catching up to me, and I've also felt mentally not as good. Like as I was going back and editing them, I was just repeating myself a lot, just saying things to say things, and didn't really have like the joy and the desire to even be vlogging. And so it seems obvious to me when I look back on it that I probably mentally wasn't in the best place I could have been the last week or so. But fortunately, I've had 2 times in my life that have kind of snuck up on me, and now I feel like I'm in a better place of recognizing when that's the case. So some more like postpartum things, or actually it's really just one more thing that I wanted to mention, and I don't remember this particular thing with the twins, but I did have, so I think like postpartum carpal tunnel is really common, and I have like postpartum tendonitis with them because I was constantly like, I think it happened later on when they got a little heavier, but lifting them with one hand and lifting them to do a tandem feed and holding them in position while they fed gave me like this weird wrist and elbow pain, and thumb, I think. And so you're just like straining in different ways than you're used to, and even though it's only like an 8 to 10 pound baby, it can still take its toll. But this pregnancy, or this postpartum period of time, I have had, but this postpartum period, it's actually affected my neck a lot more. Speaking of necks, this shirt has major bacon neck. I don't know if you remember this, if you've been with us for long enough to remember that I wore this for one of the updates when I was pregnant with the twins. And it just keeps showing back up. It just says Blessed Mama. I think I found one on YouTube, or on Amazon too, so I'll leave a link below if I can find it again. It's my favorite shirt even though it has bacon neck. So anyway, I was saying, oh, this time, like my neck and shoulders are really hurting. And I think it's from a combination of how much time I'm spending holding her and trying to multitask and like hunching over her, feeding her. And also baby wearing with the sling, or the fabric wrap, which I have a boba wrap, and I also have the Moby wrap. I like the boba wrap a lot better. Boba wrap a lot better. So I'll put a link for that below as well. I think it was like 40 bucks, and it's incredible to keep your hands free and like keep doing what you're doing while holding a baby. But I feel like the posture that I've had, or that I feel like I need to hold when she's in that, is more hunched, and so combination of those things is just making my neck really painful. So one of the joys of being postpartum. I think that's it. I haven't had my hair start falling out yet. That started maybe around 4 months postpartum with the twins, and so I'm waiting for that. And not only did my hair fall out, the texture completely changed, and it was just a nightmare for like 6 months. It'll be interesting to see if that happens again. I know my pregnancy felt completely different with her, so maybe it won't happen this time. Maybe I'll catch a break here, but I don't know. So if you've had any like weird postpartum things, maybe it'll jog my memory on things that I've experienced that I forgot about. But just, yeah, leave comments below and support each other. I like that we still have comments, because occasionally we'll get like this really neat community type thing happen where someone writes a comment, other people chime in, and it's neat to see that. And we as women are very unique in the sense that we get to experience pregnancy and experience postpartum, and it's difficult, and it's like the most joyful thing I've ever experienced, getting to know a new baby, but it's also some of the hardest moments I've ever had. And being supportive of a woman postpartum is so incredibly important. I can't overstate it. It's, you know, everybody's excited to meet the new baby and asking about the new baby, asking how the baby's sleeping, but really we need to be asking how the moms are doing, being supportive in any way we can to moms, new moms, veteran moms that are new moms again, anybody in those roles, because it can be very, very taxing, and you're giving a lot of yourself without very many people worrying about you. So just throwing that out there. If you know anybody like that, maybe reach out to them, ask how they're doing, ask what you can do to help make their lives easier or better. And that is my PSA for the day. So if you like this video, thumbs up down below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed to our channel. We do a lot of fun vlog videos with our almost 2-year-old twins and our newborn baby Eloise. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.